Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Lady Law Minis. Today, since it's the season, we figured we talk about diversity visas or lottery green cards, as many people are familiar with it. As you know, each year the US provides about 50,000 immigrant visas to natives of countries that have historically low number of immigrant visas. And the way they determine that is they look through the previous year through employment-based and family-based petitions, and if there have been usually less than 50,000 immigrant visas that were issued to these nations, then they determine that this nation is a nation that's historically low in terms of immigrant visas, and they qualify. Now, you can qualify either by being a native of that country, or if you're not a native of that country, there are two exceptions you can use. One, through your spouse. However, keep in mind, if you use your spouse's country, then you would have to go to the interview and enter the US with your spouse. You cannot continue this, should you be selected, immigrant visa on your own. A second route is to use the nationality or country of residence of your parents. And they would have to show, or you would have to show, that at the time of your birth, your parents were either citizens of that country or residents. For example, if they were there temporarily on a tourist visit or as students, that generally does not qualify. The information that you need, it's very simple, but the requirements are, like they say, simple but strict. So for example, first you have to show that you are a native of such country. Second, they do have an educational requirement that you finish high school. You can show that you've completed high school or equivalent of 12 years of education. If you cannot show that, then you have to show that in the past 5 years, 2 years of that time, you were employed full-time in an occupation that requires a minimum of 2 years of training or experience. And not all occupations qualify for this. Department of Labor sets these standards, and those could be looked up through their website. And all of this information is provided on the instructions for the DV lottery for each year. This year, for example, from October through November 9th, you have time to enter. But keep in mind, we've mentioned this before, there are no payments to be made. So you have to go through the official website. There are no fees involved. So if there's a website that's asking you for a fee, that is not the correct website. Secondly, they will never contact you. You have to check from May of the following year, this year from May of 2022, to see if your name has been selected. People ask, generally no more than 7% from each country is selected to potentially be given this immigrant visa. And the total number of visas that are generally available are around 55,000 to be dispersed through all the nationalities and all the countries that qualify for such a visa. Therefore, the chances may be low, but we've heard many success stories of individuals that were able to get the immigrant visa and are currently living in the United States through this lottery system. One other thing to always keep in mind is if you are selected, for example, for this year, and when I say this year, I mean the DV lottery that's open now, that is for 2023. If you're selected, you have to have your visa issued by September 30th of 2023. Otherwise, even though you were selected, there are no exceptions, at least at this point, that you would qualify to be able to be given your immigrant visa. Therefore, during the pandemic, there were many issues. People couldn't even go to their interviews to be able to be eligible to meet that timeline of September 30th to be able to have their visas stamped or to have their visas issued. And when I say visa, I mean immigrant visas. And unfortunately, if that's the case, even though you're selected, you will not be able to qualify and come to the United States. Till next time, we hope that you have a great day or night wherever you may be.